All right, well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for being online. Today we have, at Connect Bradenton, we have Angel Anderson. Now, Angel is really great at productivity, at systems, at time management, and he's coming in today to talk to us about the end of time management as we know it. One of the things, I've known Angel since 2010 or so.
Probably earlier.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, around 2010, and you've been in the Air Force for the last 20 years or so?
I just separated last year, but since 1996.
Okay. So that's a good stint there. But he's going to teach us all about how to have better time management skills. A lot of things that we deal with, distraction all the time. Distraction is a huge thing with social media, with people just coming in and coming out of our lives when we're trying to get our head down and do the work. So without any further ado, I'm just going to turn it over to Angel. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Matthew. The majority of the time today, I want to focus on you. I want to answer your time management questions, your challenges, but I still want to cover just a tiny bit about who I am, what I know, and how the information I have can help you. My name is Angel Anderson. Let's start with that. My name is Angel Anderson. And when I am not helping my clients get return on investment on their marketing activities, I'm teaching time management and productivity to entrepreneurs and other business owners just like yourself. In 2004, while in my office, I'm in my desk. I'm doing what most of you guys do every day. Email, and writing and reading emails, making and receiving phone calls, doing some images for marketing, writing a blog post, doing a little bit of marketing, etc. And I was in that cycle the day-to-day basis. When my wife walks into the office, sits at her desk next to me, all quiet. After 10, 15 minutes of silence, I zoned out and I started thinking, why she's not talking to me? Are we having problems again? And boom, all of a sudden I had a flashback. I saw myself getting divorced, and I didn't want to get divorced for a second time. Lucky for me, around the same time frame, the Air Force moved me to some leadership positions and gave me training on time management, productivity, and Lean Six Sigma, which changed how I see and approach time management and productivity today. And one of the reasons I know that traditional time management strategies are dead. In fact, traditional time management strategies don't work because they don't give you what you need they don't give the entrepreneur today, the business entrepreneur today, the person that relies on the internet to send emails more frequently to social media, the skills, or they don't address the challenges that the business entrepreneur have today. When I took the training, I didn't pay too much attention. Back then, I was, let's say, forced to take the training, so I sat down and I just consumed information like a lot of people do today. We consume a lot of information, but we not do what we need to do with the information we consume. So hopefully you apply what you learned today and shift your mind into what is different in time management. Because time management it starts with a shift of your mind, a mindset, respecting your time. There are 3 areas that we can focus today that will definitely change your time management, will improve your time management skill, will allow you to get more done, will minimize the distractions, will make you more productive. The first one is planning your ideal day and executing that plan the majority of the days. What is the alternative? If you don't plan your ideal day, you let other people tell you what to do, and you're going to keep complaining that you don't get to accomplish the things that you want to do on the day-to-day basis. The second area is distractions. You can choose to eliminate distractions, or you can keep complaining that you have a never-ending to-do list, that you're feeling exhausted at the end of the day. The third area, and it's not a time management strategy or skill, a technique that they teach in traditional time management, and one of the reasons people miss for the most part is a Lean Six Sigma strategy. It's about eliminating waste. So let me ask you, who should be planning your day? You gotta plan your day. So when you should be planning your day. I recently researched 9 successful businessmen, and it varies between the night before, and that's typically what traditional time management strategies teach you to plan your top 3 tasks for the next day. A lot of people just plan it the first time during the day, as soon as they sit in their desk. So it doesn't matter if you plan it at night or in the morning, it's what works for you. But it's to plan it and execute it. Let me ask one last question on that subject. How frequent? You plan it every day? You plan it the night before? You plan it once a week? What's your strategy behind it? I plan my days every Sunday, and I know exactly what I need to do the next day. And when I sit in the morning in my desk, I look what I didn't get accomplished today, and it's a good time for me to see maybe that's not that important, and I just move to the next 3 tasks. But the whole idea, it doesn't matter if you do it at night, in the morning, as long as you plan it and execute the majority of the time, because there are going to be some fire, there are going to be some distractions, there's going to be things that they are going to get on your way, and you can't do nothing about it, just like distractions. So distractions, what are distractions? What are your distractions? Email and social media. Text. Why are those distractions for you?
Because they keep popping up.
They keep popping up. You're listening. What you hear it yourself, and you're already giving yourself the answer. What you need to do to eliminate those distractions?
Shut them off.
Why you don't shut them off?
Well, what if I miss business?
Look, I had that question, and I put that theory to the test in different positions. When I was in a leadership position, running for the computer for a computer center for 1,000 people, 7 different locations or units. In my business, I've stopped taking calls that are not scheduled, and it hasn't affected a bit. If what your focus right now is to improve your time management skills, let them know, get them involved, let them know give them some expectations, so what they can expect from you. The alternative is you're gonna if you don't do what you said, what you clearly know what you need to do to eliminate distraction, you're gonna be in the same position next week. So what are the things that you can implement? And you gave a few examples. Shut down the text notification, at least between tasks. So if you're itching that you might miss something important, why not just shut them off for the hour that you're focused on that task? And when you take that, if you do Pomodoro techniques, if you do the Pomodoro system, or you focus for 1 hour, for 30 minutes, however long that you, because everybody's slightly different. You know, some people can focus for 30 minutes without interruptions, other people for a little bit longer. So schedule a 5-minute break and check that text. Do the Facebook post, and then once you get your itch on, then move on to the next task. But you have to be conscious. And time management, when I started saying that it's more about a mindset, it's also you have to respect your time. If you don't respect your time, you can't expect others to respect your time. Once you know how to eliminate distractions, the next step definitely will take it to the next level. And like I mentioned earlier, it's one that a lot of people miss because it's not a time management strategy. It's a Lean Six Sigma strategy. And it's eliminating waste. So when I mean waste, let me ask you, what do you think is waste when it comes to your day-to-day tasks, things that you do frequently?
Probably my biggest time waster is poking through emails that have nothing to do with generating business.
I think for me it's the mix of checking social media and then posting something in a response, or saying like, now is a good time to post this because people are active now. And so I'm convincing myself that I should be on social media because I can interact there with potential clients, or you know what I'm saying?
Mike said email, like sifting through a bunch of emails that have nothing to do with business. I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to take a step back so you understand what I mean about waste. So waste in Lean Six Sigma means steps that we take to accomplish a process that don't add value to the end result. Let's go something like buying toilet paper. I can choose to grab my keys, jump in my car, open the garage, drive to the store, park, get out, walk inside, find the toilet paper, make the line to the cashier, pay the cashier, get in my car, drive back to the house just so I can use toilet paper. For all accounts, in things that we do every day, they're valid. They're valid. Say, I need the toilet paper, so I need to go and get it. But do you actually have to go to the store? Can you shift your mindset and buy it on Amazon and have it in 2 days or in 1 day? Or even better, can you just put it on autosave and subscribe and have it shipped automatically every so often to your house? You can use the same philosophy for other things, transcriptions, video, content, marketing, everything. So how you do it is you pick a process that you do frequently, something that you do frequently, a task, a process, and you make a line from A to Z, from the start to beginning. Every single step that you have to take, every single decision, human interaction, wait time that you have to take to accomplish that task. And then you analyze it. You see, do I have to take step B? Do Matthew needs to review this process? Do human interaction needs to take place? Why I'm waiting 15 minutes so I can have a return on this invoice or in this process? When you start looking at the process, you're going to start realizing that you have a lot of non-value added steps. Can you eliminate steps? Can you remove human from the process? And by you removing human, you minimize the error, human error. You improve efficiency. Can you move the process from internal to external, meaning or delegating? Can you just remove the process completely? Those are the things that you start looking that once you have achieved a good state on planning your day and eliminating distraction, and you put your attention on what you're wasting your time, then it's a completely mind shift. I'll give you another example when it comes to marketing. We create content frequently. I used to create a blog post, and I use that blog post to create a video. So now I have 2 pieces of equipment, and then I said, you know what, I can use the video for an audio, and I started launching a podcast. Well, why instead? Yes, I can create the video first and have it tagged, so automatically transcription service picks it up, transcribe it, make it as a draft in my website. Then my virtual assistant, following a checklist that I give that virtual assistant, goes and creates the image, church it up, and schedule it for a week in advance. So I give me a week that if I have time, I can QC it, but if she follow the checklist, everything is perfect. Now, after the blog post is published, it goes to a buffer queue that it republish the blog post today, the next 2 hours, next month, next year, and you can evergreen that process. The only thing I did was to record and upload a video. Everything else got done. If you start looking at what you do frequently, it will definitely change you will see it, a lot of areas that you're wasting your time. Look, it works. Now it's been 15 years since I started shifting my mindset into this time management and productivity. And just to give you my results before you smile, I'm still happily married after 15 years. I raised 2 kids. I pursued my MBA and achieved it. I was volunteering in my community, was still active, running 2 businesses. If you were looking for somebody that was busy all the time, doing crazy stuff, probably it's me. And I'm still here saying, I'm happier than ever. And now I'm trying to figure out what I do with my extra time. But questions?
So to nutshell, don't do yourself what you can outsource. Don't outsource what you can automate.
I would not start with phase 3, because then my suggestion is to look what you're doing. Are you really planning and you put in your day what you need to accomplish, or you just fill in the blank going through the motion? If what you're putting in your day is not actually moving your needle closer to where you want it to be as far as goals, then revisit that area first, and maybe it's relationships. So I look the to-do list or what I do on categories: personal relationship, business relationship, finances, and then I divide it through business, personal, and different income streams. But that's what I do to make things easier for me. But once I know what I want to achieve in each category, then I know how frequent I need to do and how often and in what days. And on Sundays, I just plan everything. And I try to give myself a day of relax for me, minimum, and a day with the family. But I get myself, right now in this stage that of my life, I get the kids ready for school every morning, make sure that they eat, and on the afternoons I'm there to pick them up. And that's like my zen space. But before, the last 20 years, I made a lot of that, so I'm catching up right now. But plan your day and execute that plan as frequent as often as you can. Once you know you are in a place where you are like, okay, I got this down, I'm in a routine, I'm in a structure. Structure is freedom. I used to see structure as a jail, but it actually, when you create your structure, you create freedom to do the things that you really want to do. So once you are in a place that you are making progress in the things that you want to do by planning your day, then start eliminating distraction, because it's going to be something. It's going to be that phone call, that text, that angel that calls you 50 times a day, and you answer. You gave me the answer of what you need to do. It's just a matter of shifting the mindset and just actually applying it. So what I'm going to do to not be distracted by email notifications.
What's your solution? This happens to me more frequently than I would like to admit. When I'm sitting there working my plan, I'm grinding out whatever I'm doing, and all of a sudden I have this huge inspiration. I have this aha moment for something that's not on my list.
Mike said that what would I do, or what's my solution to, I'm creating my plan and I had an idea, and the shiny object, that's what you're talking about. I got distracted. I don't want to miss that idea.
Well, but a valuable one. Not just a shiny object, but a valuable idea.
So I want to take you back to how I used to do it and what I do now, and anything in between will work. And this brought me a lot of, are you married?
No.
Okay. So the first one brought me a lot of problems with my significant other. For some reason, every time I jump into the shower, I had this idea that I thought I was going to make $1 million. And I started calling my wife, and she was like, I bless her, she was writing down my ideas. At one point, she got mad, and I started writing them. As soon as I got them, I wrote them down in a whiteboard. The reason I wrote them down is because prior to writing them down, I had that feeling that I missed something, and it distracted me. So I needed to stop what I was doing to pursue that one, and I found myself shifting from idea to frequent, and I wasn't moving the needle closer to where I wanted to be. So the fix for that is to write them down, or in some place that you can go back, like an idea matrix. I think we learned idea matrix many years ago through our friend in the AM2 world. And you rack and stack them whenever that's a conversation for a different day, but write them down. Now what I do is I write them in my notes. If it's a website, if somebody send me an email, I bookmark it or I leave the tab open. But what I realized with the time is that what I thought it was a valuable idea, even when I purchased domains, it was worthless. It was a distraction. But I needed to write them down to then, whenever I didn't have that itch of that shiny object syndrome, when I had time to sit down, okay, I really am going to pursue that. It's not in lines with what I wanted to do. But the solution is to write them down and continue. So get them out of your head, write them down, bookmark it in a central location that so everything that you do, just have one calendar, one email inbox. If you have different emails, just have them all coming to the same place. But every idea, just have it in a Word document, a notepad, somewhere that you can go back and reference, so you don't have that itch that you missed something important. Write it down and continue focusing on what you were working on.
What would you consider to be, say, your 5 most valuable productivity tools, virtual or physical?
5 most valuable productivity tools. See, the tools are different for everybody, because depending on what you do and how your day. But I would say I rely a lot on Google Calendar. Google Calendar, because I can, any software that allows me, that gives me the freedom to be location independent, I can view it all online, offline, in any computer on my phone. That's a software or a service that I will use. Google Calendar, because one feature that I like a lot about Google Calendar, besides that I forecast even my grandma's birthday, it's a notification. So when I create an email, let's say a birthday that I don't want to miss, because it can be for anything else, I you have up to 4 notifications. So 2 weeks before, a month before, remember to send an email, grandma's birthday. It gives me enough time. Another feature that I like is the daily agenda that you get through Google notification. You can set it up, and every morning you can get an agenda of your day. So I like that. You can print it out if you want to print it out and write it down. Another reason is with Google, if you like the smart devices, you can use like a Google Home, and while you're waking up, if you're the slow starter, you can say, Google, start my day, and it will just run down through all your appointments and all the current news and everything that you're supposed to do with the weather and everything. Another tool that I use a lot, I switched from Evernote to Google Docs. I still have Evernote, but I use Evernote more as a filing cabinet. I store my receipts 99% of the time now, but I used to use it for checklists, collaborations. Now I moved to Google Docs. So Google Docs is the other one because of the collaboration, and I can view it online, offline, etc. Social media, pick one. There are many. I use Buffer. Because I find that it's cleaner. But Hootsuite, TipDeck, Edgar, Media, there are many tools out there. I use Buffer because recently I'm exploring a new one, but haven't switched. But as of right now, it's Buffer. I curate the content. I look what is been most popular through the analytics, and I just re-curate that content. It saves me a lot of time.
I have a question. This is something that I've had as a challenge for years. So if I'm working with multiple people on different projects, I get contacted all the time, and I've let myself open to everything is an emergency that they need right now. And so my personality is I want to make sure that people are served. And so what happens is things I was working on, now that gets put aside because these people come to me as if it's an emergency. Or they'll bring, it's like, here's a list of tasks, I need them all right now. And they're sequential and such. So I think it might be, I'd be curious to get your feedback on it, but also like, what's the communication with them like as far as how I let them understand where I'm at and what is actually a priority, and if they can prioritize the things that they come to me with.
I struggle with that situation. So the question is, working in teams and communication, just for the people who are watching on live stream, the challenge and not getting yourself interrupting your flow. So I went through many variations, and what worked for me was a frequent meeting, depending on the team, daily or weekly meeting, and meetings prior to the deadline. So I will tell you, let's say if the deadline is Friday, I will tell you if by Monday, prior to the deadline, you're still struggling, you have to let me know. If not, I'm going to assume that everything is peachy. But I held you more responsible than myself. That's why I hire you, so I can count on you. If I can count on you, I'm going to fire you. I learned my lesson. I wasn't that. At first, I was nice, and at times I felt I was doing the work for them.
Yes.
And that's not the point. That's not what you bring somebody to the team. They have a role and a place.
And if they're clients?
I let them go in a heartbeat.
Really?
I just let go of one for not being technology inclined. I don't need the money that bad. I don't need the headache that bad. If you have to be clear with yourself. Are you willing to work with that client? Are you willing to, if you are going to be hiding every time, or you cringe when the phone rings, then it's a sign that you should not be working with that person. I have clients that can call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and I will jump out of the bed. I love working with them. I have one that texts me lately frequently. They have some issues with email, and I don't mind. Last year I picked up one, and they were technology I didn't pick up that they didn't know about technology fast enough, and even after tutorials, they weren't getting something simple like Dropbox. And that's not my type of client. I can't, if you need, they're there are YouTube videos for you to learn. If you are going to be pointing fingers and you're not going to take ownership of what you do, and you're going to expect other people to do it, that you find someplace else to go. I'm not, when it comes to my time, I'm not that nice. I learned that. You can't. If not, you're gonna be in the same place tomorrow, complaining that you don't have time to spend it with the significant other.
Yeah. Well, how would you address working with somebody on a team or a client that you work with for a long time? Now you're saying, you know what, I gotta change how things are. What does a conversation like that look like?
So I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna refer a small book that I did when I was doing my master that helped me in the military. It's a set goals, expectation, it help you provide feedback. It's called the 1 Minute Manager.
1 Minute Manager?
Yeah, you can read it with a cup of coffee. It's an amazing book. But I will give you that framework to introduce that feedback, that follow-up, that goal setting, that expectation to the person you work with, whether it's a client or an employee, or a contractor as well.
What's your filter mechanism for figuring out what you need to do yourself versus what you need to delegate versus what you need to automate?
I'm going through that process right now. I'm hiring somebody, a video editor, and I'm hiring a WordPress tech guy, but it doesn't have to be an expert WordPress guy. I love doing both, but I want to do more video production and more strategies. And how much time do you have? What do you enjoy the most? If your driver is money, then what will pay you the most money? If your driver is happiness, because what pays you the most money, like websites, I can do a website a week and make 10, 20 G's a month, but I will not be happy as creating videos or doing that marketing strategy. I love talking about marketing. So creating that marketing strategy, that gives me a sense of fulfillment. So for me, that's better. You have to know yourself. Are you driven by the money because you have some financial goals that you need to meet, or you are in a good position financially that maybe you're just looking to do something that you actually love? And once I started doing stuff that I love, it didn't bother me. I was extremely happy, so happy that it drove people crazy. That even when I retired from the Air Force, I got a shirt that called "Best Day Ever." But you have to know yourselves. It's as an internal question. I don't know you, so you have to answer that for you. What is the immediate need? What's going to motivate you to? If it's financial, then what's the reward that you're looking for? It's not at least for me, I found that it's not having $100,000 in a bank account. For me, it's like the vacation I'm going to Punta Cana in March, and the next vacation. So for me, that was the reward. And when I hear people saying, Angel is not all about work and money, yeah, but I can't take my kids to Disney World without money, and seeing their faces happy in Disney World, it means the world to me. Or buying bikes for them for Christmas, so they have a healthy life. That's for me, and going for the first time in 11 years with my wife to Dominican Republic. But all that takes money.
Love Punta Cana.
When you're looking at your family, your personal life and your business life, do you see that there is a way to have balance, or do you think we're always kind of out of balance? We're always just shifting what's out of balance.
I found that balance is a myth that people like to. It's not. You're always giving out on something. So what I found with my wife is that it's a understanding that some days I'm gonna be working longer hours in these products, but then I have to make an extra effort. I have to make it a little bit nicer. I still do laundry. I do dishes. I still, whenever we work together, I still went on lunch dates, pretty much 5 days a week. When she's off, I block when she's off during the week, because she works in a hospital, I block that day off, and I just go out and I dedicate it for her. So I'm more intentional on growing that relationship. I realize that instead of, we are a team, so I need to make an extra effort to make the team better. It can't be all on her. So that for me was the extra effort that I put into the relationship. It wasn't, when I mean effort, it wasn't force. It's just like I wasn't I wasn't taking it to 10x. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. Even lunch dates, that made a huge difference in our relationship.
When you were looking to leverage your time, what was the first position that you saw that you should hire, and what would be a good position for someone to hire? For instance, like myself, for the longest time, I was like, no, I can do it better myself.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want to hire someone they're not going to do as quality of a job as me? What would you say is a good first person to start, and would you look locally or overseas, or how would you find that?
I tried the overseas and it didn't work out for me, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to work out for you. One thing that like I said, I'm hiring somebody to do video editing because that takes a long time. Like I just watch an hour-long video just so I can edit a few pieces. That's unnecessary for me when I can do an hour strategy session. Or a WordPress. If the person install WordPress the way I like and gets the themes where I want them and collects the copy, so I have a process for collecting the information. Then the funnels and how everything connects, that's up to me. That's the strategy part. So for me, something that I can only do is not that I can only, if they can do it 60-70% as good as me, they probably will do it. A good place, if you're struggling with email, find somebody to sort through your emails on the day-to-day basis and only leave you the 3 that you need to read. I use Unroll Me, but also I was intentional on unsubscribing from every email list that came my way.
Mm-hmm.
Intentional. And if it comes to my way, I don't mark it as spam. I think that's bad karma. I just unsubscribe. And if they don't have unsubscribe, I email them. If they email me a second time, then it's spam. I gave you a chance. But I was intentionally, and I only check email twice a day right now. I used to check it like every hour. I wake up at 4. I go through email between 4. I leave the bed after talking with my wife, so about, let's say 4:15. I go through email for an hour, and then I work for an hour in a client project, and then at 6:30, I get my kids ready for school. That's my routine. I'm not saying wake up at 4, but the time that you wake up after having a great night of sleep, and that's key also for time management, having a great night of sleep.
What time do you go to bed?
I try to go to bed by no late, so be in bed by 8:30, read a book that is not controversial. I don't watch the news at night, so it doesn't wind me up. And then lately I've been trying even bath. So by 9 I'm done. And now it might sound funny, but I researched 9 people. I mean, and I posted a blog post. Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Ariana Huffington, the Twitter and Square CEO. I forgot his name. 9 people, and they all have similar routines. And what I found that on average they all sleep about 7 hours. They all have a wind down routine, meaning they do chores at the end of the night. They dim the lights down. Some of them take bath. And I bought the lavender bath salts in it. And when I finished for about 30 minutes, I was so tired. And I told my wife, this is magical. I'm going to keep doing it because it definitely shut me down. But I did it too early, so I'm going to start doing it more. I'm going to do it 3 times a week later. So about 8 and 8:30, I'm like probably falling asleep with the book.
Shutting off the screens is a big deal.
So that's another thing that I found in my research is that the room is a non-screen place. A bedroom, no screens allowed in. I have I can use the excuse that I use as an alarm, but I've been doing with lately, and what I mean lately, months, probably a year, 2 years, I've been doing really good that I don't sweep through Facebook or at night just to scroll down and get myself all wind up again. I go and I put it next to the bed and I'm gone.
I have a question for you here.
Yes, sir.
So I'm really good with my morning routine, which is to get up, do my exercise, go to the gym, meditate, all that stuff. And then I get to work, and then it's just like, what's the first fire? And so what would you say is, I think you talked about it a little bit, you said Google would tell you what your agenda was for the day. what are some of the things how do you process what's going to happen next in your day when you first turn the computer on?
So on Sundays, I plan my day. I look who I'm going to interview, if I do need to do any training, blah, blah, blah. I go through a sequence, and I can share that. I share that template online, so I can share it with you. But once I try to do the task at night, and I forgot about it. So for me, what works is in the morning. I even try to analyze my day at night, like some productivity experts claim. They want you to see what went well, what didn't went well, and blah, blah, and adjust for the next day. At night, I would just wanted to spend them with my family and see how my kids, maybe read a book and forget about, my day, especially when I wake up at 4 in the morning. So for what works for me to know what is next is I have when I plan my week, I know what needs to get done. So I just sort out by, if I don't block it in my calendar, if it's not in my calendar, then I'll look through that to-do list. But 9 times out of 10, it's in that calendar. So I know where I'm gonna, at what time I'm hitting the office, and it's there. And Google will send me a text message. Google will send me an email. So I just try to do my best to fill the calendar as much as possible. If it's not in the calendar, I have a running to-do list, and it's actually on a note on my phone. So I can share with you, and I just tick it. And right now, I'm making really good progress this week. So basically, what I do is I look my calendar. I let Google tell me, Apple Watch tell me. Yeah. I don't try not to think about it. If they don't tell me, then my secondary place, I centralize everything through a week-long notes where I put what I learned, and then I move to my lessons learned. Wow. It's most simpler. So let me simplify. Yeah. Because you shook your head, and I don't want it to sound that it's too complicated. So what I do, what works for me now, is that I plan my days on my week on Sunday. It takes me about 15-20 minutes. That's it. I look what I did last week. What I didn't get done, do I need to do it next week? Is anything important happening next week? Any calendar? For marketing? Can I join the conversation like Valentine's? Should I done a video for Valentine's? Things like that. I look my funnel. Do I need to create content that it will move the sale? Date my wife is off. Whatever I want in that day, and I just fill out the calendar. And the next day is just discipline to follow that calendar. If it's not in the calendar, it's in the first note.
Okay. So one of the things that I see is I get an email in the morning. I check the email when I come here, and then someone's asking for something. How would you process that in your day?
So okay. So let me understand the question. You said you are at home and you got an email from where you work.
When I get into work,
okay,
and one of my clients says, "Hey, can you get me blah blah blah," and that's nowhere on my list of things to do.
So I personally block an hour. So I block an hour a day for client work. That is not like I'm editing Yvonne's videos. That's different. But you have to ask yourself. And I'm gonna put it I'm gonna give you a different scenario, which hopefully it will be the same. That you will get it. I had somebody that went to my house, knocked my door, and told me you have to do X, Y, Z now, and I'm not leaving until you do it. Will you allow that person? I'm gonna tell you what I did, but if that happened to you, would you allow that? Would you do it? No. I didn't. So why would you let somebody else do the same thing because they sent you an email? You gotta plan your day. Now there are going to be times that you have to deviate because a flat tire, whatever reason happened, or you give yourself some buffer, like from 2 to 4 before I leave. I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna inbox zero. So when I book time for inbox zero, then I take care of every task that came in and I answer. So I inbox zero in the morning and in the evening, twice a day.
Do you send an automated response when you get an email saying, "Look, I checked my email at this time and this time"?
When I did that, it worked perfectly. But I got the people used to it now that I don't have to. I haven't done it in
You
years.
train people how to treat you.
Like I mentioned with the voicemail and what I did with the email, I did, even in the Air Force I did it. And my supervisor is like, who you think you are? If it's that important, you're gonna come to me and you're gonna let me know. Is that important? No. Okay, so I'll do it later. And they didn't like it, but my productivity levels. I used to teach 7 airframes, and I'm a weapons guy by trade, and I was busy all the time, so I didn't have time to waste. Look, shift your mindset. We're gonna end it, right? Yes. So shift your mindset. Respect your time. It comes down to respecting your time, and focus on planning your day and executing that plan as often as possible. And if you break your plan, if you break from working your ideal day, then step back. What is happening? I'm getting too many distractions. Then eliminate it. You gave me the answers, Mike. You know what to need to do. Shut down those notifications. Those are the simple. Those are all time management strategy, because it could be something more in depth that is not just notifications. But eliminate distraction. Then whenever you're ready, take it to the next level. Eliminate waste. It's not just about starting by outsourcing or automating, even though that it will be amazing. But in a nutshell, those two areas. And I know I said I am going to share 24 hacks, so I am not going to leave you hanging because you mentioned it. So Amazon Save and Subscribe. Come on, use it. Why you gotta, anything that is daily consumables, anything that you consume, toilet paper, paper towels, toothpaste, shampoo, just put it on auto save and subscribe. And then tell the wife or the significant other, have your supermarket to bring the milk, eggs, ham and cheese, whatever you can buy. I don't know if Amazon Fresh is here, but at least in Brooksville it's not it. Publix says, have it delivered. Why you gotta drive over there? Unless you're like my aunt, that she's like, I wanted window shop, and that's it, So do most of the shopping online as much as you can. Even for clothing, there are services. There are plenty of services out there, and I have tried a few that it will ship your clothes in a box to your front door. You pick whatever you like, and whatever you don't like, you put it in the box, and they pick it up, and you just pay a monthly fee, or you pay for whatever you kept. It's amazing. The food, I've used HelloFresh. I haven't used Blue Apron yet, but we've been talking about it, and they're good. You just have to open your mind to try something different, and you don't have to. It just saves you so much time. If your challenge or your issue is lack of time, or you want to create time, you need to see how you're spending your time and start shifting how you approach those things. I'm gonna grab the paper so we can go faster. Don't drive as much as possible. Meaning, if you have to go somewhere, have somebody drive for you, so you can do something else in the passenger seat.
And don't cross the river if you don't have to.
Don't cross the river if you don't have to.
Locally.
That one. When we drive, my wife 9 times out of 10 will drive. That doesn't mean that she likes it, but it's a compromise that we have. And I either read or answer emails, or think about outline my next video. I'm always doing something. That's the entrepreneur mind. I'm sure when you brought up the question about you have a valuable idea, so I'm always doing something. It's really rare that I'm just staring down to the side of the road. But for me, it's driving. If I have to drive like now, I kick in my learning mode and I put an audiobook. So you have to hack your driving time. This one I learned from a mutual friend many, many years ago, Robert Plank. And I still use until this day. If you're in a group, in a meeting, and I'm sure you've been in a situation where you're talking, let's say you're talking about lunch, where we're going to lunch, or you say pizza, whatever you want, or, let's do pasta, and you're just wasting your time. If you can't, you give them 5 seconds. If you don't pick in 5 seconds, I will pick for you and we'll be leaving. So hack that time, the decision time, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is also the Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule principle to eliminate procrastination. You count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it kicks in a word that I can't pronounce that allows you to break procrastination. It works. Try it. It works. And use email templates. You email a lot. whether you're using email, Outlook, Gmail, use that. If you don't have a template, like Gmail does have templates, but Outlook sometimes people don't know how to configure. In the Air Force, I used to have the signature, 15 different signatures and basically I just backspace until the top to create the email template. It was safety or whatever. You can always use template. It saves time. Hack your time. Save a couple seconds here, a couple seconds there. Template. Enroll Me. It will minimize the distraction. Have you used it?
I do an unsubscribe call about once a month.
So I love it, but you have to be like, I got to the point that I don't even read the roll-up.
No, I don't either.
I get that email at night and I'm like, delete. I don't even scroll to it. At first, I thought I was missing something, but I realized I wasn't missing anything. So now I delete it and I only allow my inbox to be hit with the items and the people that actually are there. Short emails. This is what I got. This is what I want you to do. This is what I was going to do for you. This is what I want you to do next. Just very short email. That's one of actually my pet peeves. Long emails, big paragraph. You send me one of those, is most likely it's not going to get read. It's going to be deleted. Shortcuts, computer shortcuts. You'll be surprised how much time you save by how much you can hack your time by using shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts in the program.
Alfred for the Mac.
Alfred. And also, now that you asked about outsourcing and delegating and automating, what about Zapier or IFTTT?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Just figure it out how you can, things that you do frequently. Something that you do frequently, can Zapier do it for you? Like the automation I mentioned earlier for the transcription is done through Zapier.
Yeah, that's one of the things I offer for clients is Zapier integration or IFTTT.
Things that anything. Sometimes when you Google, you're gonna have some BS suggestion what you do. So you have to actually apply to your business. What is that you actually do that will add value? One of the things that I found that for me that it works is, or for the marketing, is the scheduling a blog post or a video for even a year ahead. So that you can do that, and with Zapier you can do the sequences, the steps. Google Alerts. If you know you're going to be searching for a topic frequently, Connect Bradenton, anybody that talks about it, instead of you searching for it, why not have a Google alert to come to you? And it doesn't have to be a marketing or reputation management. It could be anything, your name, a blog post, something that you want to track later. Instead of you going back and search it when it happens, have an email, once a day or once a week, when it happens. Curate top content on social media. So that's one of the things that we should do more often as entrepreneurs. Give more of the content that people want or they like in our Twitter and platform. So sort it by most popular or most click, most shareable, whatever is the vanity track metrics that you're using, and just curate it.
You're saying curate from the Google Alerts or something different?
No. So do you use a tool right now to? No. Okay. So right now I'm using Buffer to curate my content. Anything that is top content. So let's say that you posted on Facebook all this week and you have one post that it was amazing. You can repost it again within Facebook, or you can put it in a queue on Buffer and reuse that content not only in Facebook but on the platform, and you save it. You see how well it performed throughout the time. You change the headline, you do those tweakings, and it's simple as this is the piece of content, and you drag and drop. You don't have to do anything, so it saves you so much time. It's always been a debate that this assumption, because nobody have been able to prove it, that if you use a tool like Hootsuite or Buffer, the reach minimizes. I haven't been able to prove it. I don't think it's true. If not, those tools will be going out of business. I will continue using it as a matter of my whole purpose of marketing is capturing your attention. So if I can capture your attention with XYZ content, it doesn't have to be 1,000 people, but the one that I want.
It's great for social media. I wouldn't curate content to a blog personally, just for SEO purposes.
And to cut it short, I have plenty other ones. I share the link with you so you guys can have it. Get your appointments delivered every morning to your inbox. That's one of them. That's the last one here. Listen to audiobooks while driving. Centralize your online reading to like places like Feedly. So if you find yourself jumping to multiple websites to consume your information, to do your research, then add a place like Feedly. Have you used it? No. So there are other ones out there, but basically what it is on Feedly. Let's say that you go to CNN, to HubSpot, to XYZ website, and 15 other ones every day, and you just add a new tab and you type it and all that. So with
content aggregator.
So you add the RSS feed or the website link to that platform, and you log into one place and you scan through all the headlines, and that's it. Simple. It saves you so much time. I share the link with the other ones with you so you can use it. But respect your time, plan your day, eliminate distractions, and eliminate waste.